Yo, what is up? Welcome to Ninja Geek Games. Now, I've already done a review of Utopia in a previous video, but in this video we are looking at a solo playthrough. So let's go back in time to the present of the future. So we are now set up for our solo play, which is very similar to a two-player game, where we're only going to be using the right-hand side of the board, although I have used this area to place the alternate time zone cards. But for those of you that haven't yet watched my review video, I do mention that this is just a prototype of the game. So I've stacked the knowledge tokens in the centre of the board, which are culture, politics, science, exploration and military. So for solo play, we use the alternate time zone cards numbers 1 to 7, separated into two stacks B and C. We have two motherships, one for me and one for the villain, each containing our drones and chrono ships. Although you should be here. For the butterfly effect mission cards, we only use those cards numbered 1 to 7. And that's because these cards and the alternate time zones must correlate to the 7 open time zones that we'll be using in the solo game. I'm going to place an unused drone in this mission location here to remind me in solo play only this location is available. The time zone cards are separated into their decks and shuffled and placed into the corresponding time zone areas, where we need to ensure that at least 5 crew members are face up. For solo play there are some slight changes to the two-player setup. First we need to select our villain, and I've chosen Al Scarface Capone, and they're placed in the matching crew station as indicated by the icon on their card. The remaining 9 villain cards are shuffled and placed face down here. And the villain also starts with a face-up mission card that's drawn from the mission draw pile. This is the villain track and indicates any bonus actions that they'll take during their turn, and at the start of the game you place one of their drones in the top space, and they also take the first player token. The villain gets to select another crew member for their mothership based on the time zone location on their villain cards from the same time zone and place it into our mothership. What I've done here is match this political flag to the same icon in my crew station. Now if this time zone shown to technology instead of a crew member, I'd instead go clockwise around the board selecting the next available crew member. Once selected, the villain card used is discarded to the top of the board, but that is too far for me to reach, so I'm going to be discarding here. Now what I get to do is draft any 2 crew members as well as gain some knowledge tokens associated with those crew members that I've taken. So I think I'm going to choose Aretha Franklin, which goes into my cultural slot. And I'll take Freydis, which is going to go into my military area. Now for Aretha's special ability, when I move my chrono ship into recruit space, I can choose one of the knowledge token types that I'll be using to purchase that crew member. As for Freydis, if I move to an area containing villain technology, I'll actually gain that knowledge token, not the villain. Although the villain doesn't gain knowledge tokens, I just have to pay. But now I can select my knowledge tokens, so I take 1 cultural knowledge and 1 military knowledge. And all your remaining ships get placed in your docking areas. So now we're set up, we're ready to play. Okay, so the villain is the first player, so they get to take the first action. I made a small error in the setup where I removed the politician ship and placed it in the docks and had the military ship left here. So I've just switched those over. So we don't know what the villain's going to do. Their first action is to discard the top card of the villain deck. And this then reveals an action symbol that one of their ships will take. When selecting ships, you'll always start with that on the villain card and then move down the crew stations, selecting the next available ships. This is the assassination icon, and it also shows you which time zone the ship will be placed. So we'll take the ship and place it here. Now because I haven't taken my turn, I've got no ships on the board, which means that the assassination attempt fails. Normally you would look at the number on the card, find any ship in that location and assassinate them by sending them to limbo. Now the rules state for any action that the villain has carried out, if they're able to land on the required time zone location, and this means they can move their drone down this track taking out the bonus actions. But if the space the ship wants to land is occupied, they move to the next available space going in a clockwise order, and that means that the action has failed. Now I'm going to assume the action has failed because although they landed successfully on the assassination space, they've actually failed the assassination attempt, so I'm not going to move this down. Although Gravity Games can correct me if I'm wrong. So now I get to carry out my actions by moving any ships onto the board. Now if I want to recruit a crew member, I need to place one of my ships on these recruit spaces here. Then I'll need to pay a specific number of knowledge tokens from my board that is specific to the crew members I already have, matching the same icon on the card I want to buy. Now for me to recruit a third crew member into any one of my crew stations is going to cost me 2 knowledge tokens. Now I don't have any political or exploration knowledge tokens, so I can't buy any of the crew members on the board. To purchase a technology, I need to pay 2 science. I don't have those either. Now these are pretty cool because they slip under the board under your control, and if the villain lands on the space, you then get a choice of these knowledge tokens. Now I'm tempted to land here to claim one of the mission control cards. Now this one's pretty useless because you need exploration tokens to activate it. To save the dinosaurs, I need 2 communications technology plus 2 of the military knowledge tokens. Now for those technologies, I'll need 4 science to buy 2 of them. But here, I need 4 culture tokens and only 1 of these technologies. I'm going to place my military ship here, claim this card here, and then reveal the next card, which is Paint the Mona Lisa. Next for the villain, the first thing we need to do is discard the top card of the villain deck. And this is the trade icon. And the trade icon is in time zone 1, so I can move their Cronus ship to the trade icon here. And that is deemed a successful action, meaning that this moves down onto the space that looks like an axe. Well, that can't be good. Now this means they're going to attempt to steal knowledge from me. Good job I haven't got any. Oh, and I've got a few tokens as well. Now for this raid action, what you need to do is look at the time zone location on this card and look at the matching time zone area to see if I have one of the technology cards here, which I don't. If I did, I'd have to pay one of the matching knowledge tokens that are located in this area. Again, before deciding if this bonus action fails, they would then look around the board to see if there were any other technology cards that they could try and steal from, but I don't have any. So at the beginning of the game, there are a lot of failed actions from the bonuses and from some of their actions because you don't have the engine of your game built yet. But as the game goes on and you start to gain your knowledge and your technology, the villain will start to hinder me. So for my second action, Aretha is going to take a trip to Renaissance Italy and go onto the culture icon here. Now what that means is I can take one of the culture knowledge tokens and place it onto my mothership board. And because Aretha has a matching culture token, I can take another one for free. So I already have 3 of the 4 culture tokens that I need to activate this mission card, although I don't have any communication technology yet. So that's the end of the round, and now we have a cleanup phase. First we recover any ships that have been assassinated or left in limbo where we need to pay some knowledge. There are none there, so we can skip that step. Then for each time zone without a Cronus ship, we take the top card of the deck and put it to the bottom. If there was no Cronus ship here, I'd then discard this to the bottom of the deck, shift these down and draw a new one. But seeing as though I took one in that round, we don't need to do that. Next, we take our Cronus ships back to our motherboard. Or mothership. So, the aim of the game is for me to successfully complete 3 mission effect cards. And I need to do this before the villain does theirs, where I'll need to collect tokens and meet specific requirements of the card. The villain will complete their mission control cards every time their drone meets the bottom of this bonus track. Okay, so round 2. Now the villain takes the first turn, so I need to discard the top card here, and it reveals another trade action, which means their ship will get placed here. And because that's deemed a successful action, their drone will move on to this communication technology icon. And this means that I'll look at the time zone location located on the card and see if there's a communication technology there, which is not, it's a crew member. So then I'll need to move from time zone to time zone in a clockwise direction until I can find one of their communication technology cards. So there is one in the next available time zone, so I take that card, place it under the board and place one of their drones showing that they control this technology card. Now if I land in one of these 2 spaces, I'll have to pay one of these knowledge tokens from my mothership into the bank. Now I'm just thinking what to do. Do I go around and collect knowledge tokens, or should I try and buy a crew member? Now if I get knowledge tokens, I may be able to finish this a little bit earlier, as well as trying to build some of the technology. But if I get a crew member, I get additional actions to take each turn. So what I'm going to do here is place my military ship onto this flag icon. And I know what you're thinking, I'm going to have to pay one of the knowledge tokens here because I don't control that technology. But with Freydis's card, this action here means that when I move to a time zone location containing a tech developed by another player, I actually get one of those tokens. So I'm going to gain 2 of these political knowledge tokens to my mothership. One for stealing it from their technology card and one for landing on that space. Now the villain's second action. So this is the mission control icon. I can move their ship to here, take the top card, place it in their butterfly effect area, and then draw another one to replace. Build the Great Wall. Now that action was successful, so I can move this drone down one space. And this icon means that I can attempt to recruit one crew member. So again, we'll go to the villain card to see which time zone we're going to look at. And we'll go to Revolutionary France. They can claim this because it's a military. This is now vacant. So they claim that crew member and that ship. And they can use that this turn. Now here I'm in two minds. I could take my cultural ship, place it here, and try to recruit Martin Luther King with the 2 political tokens that I got last turn. And their ability lets me take one of these for free when I use that ship, which is pretty handy because I won't have to use an action to place one of my ships here to take it. But if I go here, I can still use the 2 political tokens that I got, but this is another action that lets me take knowledge tokens from another player's technology cards, but it will cost me one of my sought after cultural tokens. But I am going to do it. So I'll go here. I have to pay one of these 2 tokens back to the bank, and then I'll use the 2 tokens that I got in an earlier turn to claim this crew member and their associated ship. So the villain gets a third action because they gained a new ship in an earlier turn. So what this means is that their ship will move to the top location on the leftmost active mission card. Now in some circumstances, this icon will actually show a knowledge icon where you'll place the ship. But in this case, it's a technology card, which means their ship will move to the science space, which is deemed a successful action. So they'll move this drone down one space. Now the drone has landed on a murder action, so what we do is look at the number indicated on the villain card here, which is 3. And a number 1 to 5 would indicate one of these spots of your crew stations. Now number 3 means I look at my 3rd station, and had I a crew member here, this ship would then be placed in limbo. Now because I haven't recruited yet, nothing happens. Also in this circumstance, a number 6 or higher means nothing would occur. So although they've moved down this drone track, they haven't been able to carry out that action. So my 3rd action, I'm just thinking of assassinating a player. So that's trade, and that's science. So yeah, I'm going to assassinate. I'm going to place my ship on the assassinate action. I'm going to assassinate their military ship. What I need to do is place one of my drones on that location to show that I've assassinated from here, and I get to take this action. So I'll get a science knowledge token. So that's the end of the round. The first thing we do is remove ships from limbo. So that military goes back to here, and I actually get this token that they have to pay. Then I'll put these cards to the bottom of the decks because we have no ships in these areas. And we return the ships. Okay, because I took the assassination action in the previous turn, I should have taken the first player marker. So I am now the first player. And what I'm going to do is move Freydis and her ship to this location here and gain a science knowledge token. For the villain, we discard the card. Okay, we have bottom. So again, we look at the top 2 icons of the leftmost active butterfly effect card. But out of those 2 icons, we look at the bottom one, which shows a military symbol. So Al Capone will move over to the military. That is a successful action. This drone will move down one space and they complete a butterfly effect mission card. Now this is a free action, doesn't cost anything, but they don't spawn one of the alternate time zone cards either. And then the track will restart. So for my next action, I'm going to move the politician to the recruit space up here and recruit this communication. Now all of the technologies have the same cost, which is 2 science tokens. Now I then get to take this card, place it above, and this now becomes mine. Place a drone there just to indicate that. Any player, including myself, that lands there I get to take a culture or political knowledge token. And I've already fulfilled part of my mission effect card here. So the villain's next turn, remove the card, an assassination attempt. Well, that's not great. So they move to here. Look at the space, which is number 6, which means my military ship is assassinated. And that's going to cost me a military token next turn. That's deemed a successful action, so we need to go to the next space here, which I think is the raid. So this means we look at time zone 6 to see if I have a technology card here, which I don't. So go in clockwise order until we find one. There is one there, so I have to pay a culture or a political knowledge. Now I don't have any political knowledge, so I have to pay one of my culture, which I don't really want to do. So I need that for my butterfly effect card here. And what I should have done is marked this area with the drone because of the assassination attempt that was done here. Okay, my last action. I don't think I've got any choice. Oh, they should have the first player token for the assassination attempt. I'm going to move this ship over to cultural. I gain 1 token here and 1 for her primary ability there. So I gain 2, 1, 2. I now have 3. My mission card requires that I have 4 plus one of these communication technologies. So last action for the villain, I need to shuffle this deck. Okay, so for their last action, discard the card here. Top. So we look at this card now. The top one is the culture icon, which I have a ship on, so they can't move there. They'll move to the next one, which is the political icon, and that is not a successful action, so we do not move their drone token down. So that's the end of the round. I need to remove my ship from limbo. That is going to cost me 1 military token. Now only this card is moved to the bottom of the pile because all the others have ships or drones, and this one is discarded. These are shifted down, and we move another one face up, which is start of the Industrial Revolution. And then the ships and the drones go back to the player boards. Okay, first player. Oh. Move to position 1. That is a successful action. So now we move 1 space down the track. Now this is a communications icon, which means that the villain will attempt to develop one of the communication technologies here, but we don't have any. We've only got 1 technology, and it's transportation, so this fails. But I should have got one of these tokens up here actually, because they moved onto my technology, so I will claim culture. So for my first action, I'll move my military ship to the military spot, which means I gain a military token for that and that. So I'll gain 2. Now I can attempt to complete my butterfly effect mission card. So I need to spend 4 of my culture tokens. I then actually lose control of this card. I have to spend it. So it goes to the bottom of the deck. I needed to make sure I had a ship in time zone 2, which I do. And I can now choose one of the cards here, and it says to choose 2C. Now I've got 2 options here depending on how I want to change history. So I've got create a superstar or found a new religion, or hopefully it's Jedi. Now each side of these cards have different abilities that I can use. This one lets me gain culture knowledge, but you can take the action twice, so I can gain 2 tokens here. And if I sent this ship, I'd gain 3. But this action allows me to recruit from anywhere on the board. I don't have to be at that particular station. And it also allows me to swap out my knowledge tokens when recruiting crew members from this space. So this goes here and it becomes another alternate time zone that I can use. And to show it's mine, that I can take the action twice, I place one of my drones on there. And then I can move my ship to that location. So now I can turn this over. I've completed one of my mission cards. And I should have actually got rid of this one during the cleanup phase of the last round. So the villain's turn, discard the card, assassination attempt at time zone 6. Now because there's no ship of mine here, it goes around the board in clockwise order looking for one of my ships to assassinate. The good thing is it ignores alternate time zones, so nothing happens. That is a failed action, so I'm not going to move this token. So for my next action, I think I need to get another mission control card because there's one I like. This one here requires 4 of my political knowledge and 2 military knowledge. And seeing as I've got those ships available, it would be silly not to take it. So I'll move Aretha here, take this card, that then sits here. And we replace with establishing the Roman Empire. So for the villain, bottom, which is the political flag. That is a successful action. So that moves down to this silhouette figure here, which is the attempt to recruit a crew at position 1. Now they can't recruit this crew member because it's a military icon. They already have one, so we need to move to the next ones to see which one they can recruit. Again, that's military, that's technology. This is a cultural. They already have Scarface there. Not looking good so far. Another cultural, scientist. Okay, they can recruit this one. This ship. So they now have 4 ships. I think for my next action, I'm gonna take my ship, move to a science area. Okay, no ships in limbo. We don't need to change these cards around because I have a ship here. And it's these 3 cards that change position. Okay, first player. Bottom again, so they move to the flag icon, which is political icon, successful action, and they move down. So again, I look at the number on the card, it's an 8, which means nothing happens. Had it been a 1 to 5, I'd have looked across here to see which ship goes into limbo. So quite lucky, really. Now, I am going to assassinate this ship here. Actually, I don't think I want to do that. I was thinking if I assassinated, I move one of my drones to this spot. I get one of these political tokens, which I need here, and then I'd get a political token for this as well. But because of the special ability Raider here, but drones don't activate these. Okay, so instead they will move here and just claim another science token. Villain, top, cultural, that is a successful action. They have completed their second one. So I am still behind. What's under there? Science. So yeah, I'm going to recruit. So I'm going to send Aretha here. That's going to cost me, it should cost me 3 science because it's my 4th crew member, but her ability lets me recruit 1 knowledge disc of any type. So I will spend the 2 science that I need plus 1 culture and claim Archimedes. Trade. A successful action. Moves down 1 space. So they would attempt to raid my technology cards, but I haven't got any on the board at the minute. So that action fails. So I'm going to move here, claim another one. Okay, last action. So they can't do that action. So they would go from here to here. They're actually going to go to the military area over here. So that is a failed action, so they don't move. Okay, I am going to assassinate this one. I can take that action, which gives me a political flag, which I need for here. Take the first player token, and then their last action. Now we need to shuffle. There we go. Okay, here they can't take that action, so instead they'll move around the board to the explore. And again, that's a failed action, so nothing happens. So end of the round. Now, this comes back to this position, so I gain culture, which again helps me here. None of these are replaced because we have ships at every single station. So all the ships just come back to our motherboards. Okay, I am the first player. So the first thing I'm going to do is place my token on the flag here. Now I gain 2 political tokens, 1 for there and 1 because that's my primary ability. And because of their ability, I actually get 1 of these tokens. So I'm going to take another cultural. So, villain. Bottom action. Now they don't have a face-up card because they haven't been able to move here and take 1 of their mission control cards. I'm not really sure what they're going to do. I guess in this scenario they would probably move to here, take the top card. I mean, that makes sense to me, or they would move to the first location here, the trade, but either way it's a failed action. So my turn, I'm going to move to, yeah, I'm going to move my military to the military space here and gain 1 military token there and 1 here. So that's 2 military tokens. And now I can fulfill this mission, establish the Roman Empire. So that's going to cost me 4 military tokens, 2 political tokens. My ship needs to be in area 2. So I choose card 2B, which is, yeah. And again, these are double-sided, so I have established the Egyptian Empire or established the Roman Empire. So this gives me science, where I can take that action twice. And this symbol, so what this means is that I can spy on a time zone location occupied by a chrono ship, and I can take that action. If I land here, I can choose any action that's occupied by a ship and take that action. Also, whilst I have a ship on here, I can move to any location occupied by a ship on the board. So this says that I meddle in battle, giving Antony and Cleopatra the CSS Virginia, a Confederate ironclad warship from the American Civil War in 1862. And due to this, Antony and Cleopatra, they blow Octavian's fleet to smithereens. and they pronounce themselves Joint Emperor and Empress. From the capital in Alexandria, they control the empire through a network of spies. So that now goes in section B. I place a token there to say that's mine. My ship now moves here. So this ability is now active whilst I'm here. Now I only need to finish one, and I need 3 more political flags and 1 more military icon. So for the villain. Okay, actually I think that should be there. So politicians, one is bottom again, which here is the cultural icon in the top corner. So that is a successful action for them. So they move down to the communications technology, and there is one here. So they will take this. Now they own this card, meaning I have to pay if I land on there. Now I need to find a way quickly to gain political and military cards. So they've got just 2 spaces to move, or 3 spaces to move, but I still need a couple of tokens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the ability here. So I'm going to take my scientist, and I can place them adjacent to another chrono ship and gain this icon, which is a political token, but I do have to pay there because of this. Okay. Oh no, assassination. So they'll move here, go to position 6, there's no one there, and they go in clockwise order. I'll assassinate, I'm not sure which one they'll assassinate. Oh, that's not good. Successful action, which means they get to recruit at position 6. There's no one there. They can't recruit here because they already have someone in the political station. So they're going to keep going around here. I don't know why their ship's already there. But they now have a full complement of crew members. Not good, because they get that extra action than I do. So I'm going to move her to here, gain my military token. They should have the first player token. Now their turn, trade. Again, they get to go down here, but it's a number 7. So because there's a number 7 there, nothing happens. Now I've got no ships left, so they get to take another turn. Top, which is here, so they can't land there, so they move to here, which means that is not a successful action, so they don't get to move their last space. Okay, end of the turn. Now I need to pay a science to get the ship back here, or any 2 different knowledge tokens. I'm not going to risk it because I've only got 1 culture. I need these here for this. Okay, it's only this deck changes. This doesn't, because there's a ship here. And now we take the ships back. Okay. Assassinate. There is no one to assassinate, so that action fails. So I'm going to move to here. I get 1 political icon for this, 1 for my primary ability, but I do have to pay a culture for that action. Oops. Okay, it's getting close. Top. Oh, good. Well, that is a political icon, which I've just taken. So they have to move to science, which means that action has failed. Now, I think I can win here. So all I need to do is get to this area. So who shall do it? Freydis, or it's got to be Aretha. Aretha, so she can go here. Take the exploration knowledge. Now she's going to attempt the butterfly effect. I need 4 political tokens, 2 military. I need my ship in area 3. The ripple effect is 3C. I just want to see what that is. Now what happens here is this gets replaced. So I have a choice of kickstart the Renaissance or launch the Crusades. And that will give me military tokens if the game continued, and obviously culture. And I think I want to... it doesn't really matter. I will kickstart Renaissance. That becomes mine. And I've completed my 3 butterfly effect mission cards, which means that I have won the game. Now I just want to see what the next card... Oh, there's none left. So let's see, had they had one more action, what would have happened? Bottom. Yeah, it's not filled. So they would have moved down 1 space and they would have beaten me to it. But I've beaten them, I've won the game, literally by the skin of my teeth. Very enjoyable. And that is only a level 2 boss out of the 10. So you can imagine that this gets quite tricky as you look through the more difficult bosses. You know, you've got quite a few of them. You've got Blackbeard, Vlad the Impaler, Leopold II, Genghis Khan. So there's quite a few there. One thing I didn't do much of in this game that I normally do is building the technology. I normally have at least 1 or 2 lying around at most occasions, so that I am getting these knowledge tokens as a passive action. And if I'd used it with this ship and landed on one of my own technology cards, I'd have been able to claim both of them with this special ability here. But it just so happens I think only one of my cards required a technology, so I didn't really rely on it. I was lucky enough to get at least a good number of my crew members, so I could carry out, you know, 3 or 4 actions for most of the game. But there you go, hope you enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you noticed any errors or mistakes, please let me know in the comments. And thanks for watching. This is Ninja Geek Games. Cheers.